when you have if we know we can make him come back, like you're like teaching yourself how to think in the moment.
What the numbers are too.
You're also like he's giving you those other things which happens in real life. The main thing I tell people, like, I really don't have a problem that people practice it without the leash.
Right.
In an enclosed environment.
Confused. Yeah.
Is that they make it happen.
Right.
In your case, you made it happen. But if you don't make it happen, then it's kind of like a learning moment of like, I don't have to return.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to avoid. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where I picked that up from, but whenever you like tell a dog to sit and they don't,
sure.
I'm like, well, now I have to have you sit, even if I don't want you to, because I said it. Like,
yes. You have
even
to
if the moment
it.
passed. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to.
So I try to hold true to like what I said.
Yeah. And it's going to happen. You're not going to be able to reinforce everything,
right?
Obviously, but if you're always aiming for 100%, you're going to have a much higher level of consistency than if you let certain things slide. Okay,
right.
So that's good. What we're going to do today is we'll review the recall and to see what you remember from the exercise. We're going to add a little bit more to it today. Wait, how many has he done? 2 recall classes or 1?
With the long leash one.
He just done 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the second half of recall.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll cover that and.
This thing just always falls.
Yeah.
I feel like even when I put it really tight.
Yeah. Once he like fills out and the puppy skin's not so loose and stuff, I think he'll
stay in the spot.
It's funny because his hair looks like a little like frizzy.
I know. It's
from
wet.
the water, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go over here to the space. Do you have a long leash?
Yeah, I do. Other not so surprising news: the people who adopted Bear returned him.
Oh, what happened?
They said he was too powerful for what they were like than what they're used to. And I was like, you've had 80 to 90 pound labs before. And he's not like, he's just not trained. Like, it's not that he has more power. So, anyway.
Well, that sucks.
I told him that I can't take him. I was like, I'm going back to work.
Yeah.
I can't.
It is what it is.
Right. Do you want that short one on him still?
No, we're fine with the long one. Yeah. Because we're using the word already, right?
Yeah.
So. Where am I?
Oh, damn. Come on.
Oh.
He likes the camera.
He's a behind the scenes kind of person.
Who makes him look good.
And what's your number been typically?
Honestly, depends on what we're doing. I feel like, or where we are.
You're all nice and damp, buddy.
Yeah, he's wet. I mean, right now I'm at 50, just from being by the lake.
And when a dog gets wet with the collar, sometimes the number goes lower, sometimes it increases.
Yeah.
So it's just figuring out what.
Right.
Fine.
Yeah.
So.
I felt like when he was wet, I needed it stronger. But. Can you do it? You ready? Walter, come.
Good.
Okay.
You want a couple more? Sure, but
Not me. Go on.
anywhere where Jesse is not.
Right? He's like, I know.
Come on.
Walter, come.
Very good. I like his speed. We'll do one more.
Good. Okay. Bye.
Come here. Come here.
Walter, come.
Good. Excellent. So, he has good speed. Very direct. It's good. What we're going to add on is, I'm pretty sure we didn't cover this, is the side step exercise. Is that correct? You remember that? So, if you call Walter and he arrives, and let's say, you know, a few seconds go by or minutes, whatever, and you decide to move, what should he do?
I don't know. I either stay there or stay by me.
Yeah, stay with you.
Okay.
So recall is kind of like the heel. Heel is walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. Recall is come to me, stay with me, and sit. Right.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do here is you'll call Walter. Everything stays the same, but once he arrives, once he lands, you want to let him settle so he gets the auto sit,
Right.
and then you'd move. And Walter should move with you.
Okay.
I don't care how, but he should immediately move with you. And then you would stop, he would sit, he'd move again, he should move with you, he should sit, he'd move again, moves with you, he should sit. Okay. Now when we do this exercise, we want to make sure that we can go in any direction but forward like. Okay, so if Walter lands here and I move forward like this, what does it look like? Walking, right? It looks like heel. So I don't know if he's default heeling or if he's doing the exercise.
Okay.
Right? So when you move, it's going to be very awkward. You're going to move like directly to your left.
Okay.
You can move backwards or you can angle it out. But we don't want to move straight forward or like this because that's still forward like. Right?
Got it.
So it's that's why it's the side step as opposed to turning to the
Yeah.
left. And if he doesn't move within a split second of you moving, you want to start remoting there, okay? Because if you move to the side,
stick.
And you wait 2 seconds before remoting, you're going to create a 2-second delay.
Okay.
And it should be instantaneous, okay? It should. One of my employees pointed it out up there, like, we should make a montage of you, because I'm always picking up sticks and throwing them in videos.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to make a montage of you just throwing sticks. So now when I do that, I just can't help but think about that stupid montage. Is you're gonna move sideways, and if you don't see him immediately moving, you're kicking in with that remote. Okay. So it does one of two things. One, it's really cementing when you call Walter, he's supposed to come to you and stay with you. Okay. So this will help prevent, like if you're at the dog park, you call him, he comes back, he goes, okay, mom, I'm gonna go play again, and prematurely leaves. It helps prevent that problem. The other thing is that he might get confused and start to run off with the remoting.
Yeah.
So then we can use it as a means of proofing him and going, no, bud, when you feel this, you always have to return to us. Okay, so it helps us also force that issue. So we're gonna do the same thing. You'll do the recall, let him land, wait a moment, and then, it's any direction away from him. Do 2 to 3, let him move or make the move, let him settle, move again, and repeat. Okay? Questions?
No.
All right. Go ahead and bump it. I can see his neck twitching, but he wasn't fazed by it. Good. Good. Tap here to settle him. Yep, tap.
Still that big.
There you go. So here you can do like 2 steps, 2 or 3 steps to your right. Tap. Good. 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 One more. Very good. Right.
Okay, good boy.
What's the number at now?
57.
Okay. Perfect.
Walter, come.
So I meant 3 more of the recalls. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful. already thinking about it.
Like she's moving. Walter, come.
Yep, yep, yep. Good. Good. That's good. Break.
Okay.
Last one.
Come on.
He's like, psych. That don't count, Walter. Does not
This is
count,
what
buddy.
I have to do, I know.
Does not count.
Go on. Go. Go.
Come here, bud.
Go on. You're fine. Walter, come.
Very good. Excellent. Questions about that? Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I didn't have more time to do it. I was still follow, so that was what you just said.
Okay. So, of those 5, how many did you have to tap on? Like, just roughly, like most of
I
them?
tapped the first time every time.
Okay.
Like right when I moved,
Sure.
I tapped just so that he would follow.
Just
Like,
to get
his
in his head?
attention. Yeah.
For sure.
But I didn't multiple tap.
Oh, I
would
see.
say,
Just the one
yeah.
that set it, started,
Right.
get him going. Sure, sure. Okay.
But yeah, not multiple every time. I don't know how many times I did that.
Okay. So he did pretty good. There was a couple that were just kind of slower. He got like distracted, which is
Yeah.
another thing that happens is when you sidestep, like something might catch his attention,
Right.
and then you can use that again to kind of prove like, no, once I call you, like,
Yeah.
stay with me. Okay. So that's good. Now, when you practice this yourself, like you don't have to do this every single time, but I do throw it in like intermittently. I would definitely try this at the park or the dog park
Yeah.
to see like how's this gonna work here, right?
Right.
I would suspect probably not great, but it gives you an idea of like, okay, we have something we need to work on.
Right.
But you'd really want to work on it. I would say, okay, I'm not gonna worry about that here quite yet. We're gonna practice that more. But it'll give you an idea of just of his concept of the command itself.
Right.
There you go. Very good. Good. Now, here, I like what you did because you had told him. So last thing you told him, and he started to wander. And then you went straight into, no, you were under command.
Right.
Okay? That's super important because a lot of people forget that. You know, I start talking to them, they get distracted, and they kind of just think the command is off. And
Right.
it's like, no, the command is still in effect, and we do want to make sure that we enforce that. Okay, so that was good. Questions about any of this stuff? Did we talk about making this more realistic if you're working like with Chase or something?
Yeah.
With like the movement and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
With like him actually playing or something and being called.
Correct.
Yeah.
Did we do that last time? Like, did I take Walter?
No.
Or was it just a straight back
Yeah,
and forth?
just the straight back.
Okay. Were you able to do that at all with Chase?
Not really. We did like once, but it wasn't like
Anything
full
like that?
playing.
Sure. So we'll review it today to show you because we would build up to it. We wouldn't just take Walter and start running. We'd want to start slow, like with walking and stuff,
Right.
to ease him into it, and to get his brain used to like, oh, like I might be running towards something or walking towards something, and then I have to leave to do something else. Okay. So once we start this one, you don't have to worry about the side steps anymore because we're going to be focusing on recall during movement. So when you do work with Walter, I do like to do things in topics. So like, let's say,
Squirrels probably, they're his new obsession. Birds are the thing with that.
what does it say? Distracted.
Working in topics.
Yes, working the topics. So like with recall, there's the speed of the return, there's the return, which is, you know, him whipping around. And then there's like, for instance, the staying on the body, right? There's 3 things there. And if you try to work on all 3 of those things at once, it's too much stuff for the dog to pick up on.
Yeah.
So then I do things one at a time. So like right now we did the sidestep stuff. And I go, okay, great. You understand that, practice that, but now we're gonna switch topics. Now the topic's gonna be, you know, getting Walter to disengage from when he's moving away from you or chasing something and returning. We're really focusing on that. So if you ever do his recall and you notice like, man, his recall's kind of slow, you'd go back to practicing and then you'd focus on the speed. And typically with speed, you can just create that through more power. Finding the number that's gonna make him go, whoop, boom, just book it straight back. And then you figure that out, go, okay, great, like it's now 85 is the number that makes them whip around and run to me, no questions asked. And then you condition that a few times, and then when you apply it realistically, you want to already be in that range because you're trying to recreate it there too. And then once you feel like you've gotten it, then you kind of can dip down and you get the same speed but with lower power. Okay. Sometimes you always need the higher power. It just depends on the dog. But whenever you're working with them, just kind of think like, what do I want to focus on today, or for these few minutes before I switch it to something else. Okay. Questions about that?
No.
All right, buddy. I know. Come here. So here, and this is what, 50 foot?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So actually what we'll do here, since he's doing really well with the recall stuff, is you can give yourself like the full slack. And when I'm walking with Walter, about like halfway through, before there's any tension in the leash and stuff, you want to already issue the recall. Okay. You might get confused though, because now if he's walking with me and we're walking like this, he might be
trying to,
So if that's the case, you'll start walking backwards as you're tapping, or you can bump it to see if you can disengage them prior to tension kicking in, using solely the remote.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Ready, bud?
Just anytime. Walter, come.
There you go. Good. Attaboy. And break.
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw him flush
he
forward.
tried to, get closer to you.
So that's all normal. Come here, bud. Punch your leg. There we go. Try it again. We'll do that 4 more times. Oh, you got it. There we go.
Walter, come.
Good. Right.
He cracks me up. He's so weird.
It's funny
Good
because
boy. Come on.
I think you posted something about like giving him an old man name or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And he kind of has that vibe.
No, Maddie yesterday, that's her name, right? With Rudder?
Yeah.
She was talking to me yesterday. She's like, he is very calm for a pointer. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I know he's a mix, but...
We're thinking of getting a puppy for the facility
Oh, yeah?
to raise and be our facility dog
Yeah.
for like socializing and stuff. And she's like, what about a GSP? And I'm like, only if it's Walter.
I know.
I was like, that dog is so chill.
I know, that's what she was saying, because I saw a baby GSP at the park yesterday and I posted it, and she was like, oh, they're so cute. And I was like, I know, now I'm like addicted to the breed and I didn't know. And
Sure.
she's like, Walter's a calm GSP though. Like, I can't do it because they're energy.
Yeah, we got another one that we're working with, and she's like high anxiety and stuff.
Oh.
I mean, she's doing
He's
better.
got like the confidence, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, he's
thankful.
good. Like he's got confidence, but he's very calm.
Yeah, he's teachable too.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Ain't that right, buddy? Can you go get it in for that?
Right. Walter, come.
Good. Very good. 2
Okay,
more?
Break.
He's like, this is easy.
Walter, come.
Yeah, boy. So we'll do one more, and then we'll start switching it to like me moving around with him. Make it a little bit more complicated. Probably more complicated than Walter.
Walter, come.
Good. Very good. Excellent. So there's some things I like, and then one thing that we want to improve on. Do you know what we want to improve on for Walter?
What do you mean right now from this?
From what we've done, right? From the 5 reps that we've done, better than the first one. The first two he was kind of flushing forward, but he's kind of stopped at.
He stopped going forward, but he's still pausing.
He's pausing, right?
Yeah.
So how do you think we can make that better?
Stronger on the thing or no?
Well, possibly.
Okay.
But what are we trying to make better?
How quick you can.
Correct. Yeah. So we could play with power there.
Yeah.
Right? So it'd be like Walter come and then 180, and he's running straight to you.
Right.
What we're getting is a stall, which is good because he's starting to figure out like, all right, moving forward wasn't the answer, and stalling still isn't the answer. But I know as soon as I turn, everything goes away. Like we got to find a number to make him think about it a bit more. Okay. So we're at 57. Let's try 65 because you were at 70 earlier, right, or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
When he was wet.
We'll try 65. We're going to do a couple more of the slow walks, and we're going to see if we can get him to just turn a bit quicker using solely the remote. Now, what I did like was he was responding to the remote. He was slowing down, he was stopping, and his brain was going, all right, I'm supposed to do something. He just hasn't learned quite yet what it is.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's
without
good progress.
words, or do you still want me to call him?
Yeah, you're still going to call him.
Okay.
Walter, come, but now we're just going to use that higher number to see
Got
if
it.
he'll whip around quicker.
Got it.
Okay? All right, bud. Come
Good.
on, man. Come on.
What are you doing? Walter, come.
There you go.
He was half in his shoes, ready to go.
It's kind of like he was already.
Yeah, he already knew it. That he was
So what
gonna
we'll
walk
do
around.
is we'll go a little bit further because dogs can learn to recognize distance. So
Okay.
if we're doing the recall like at the 20, 30, 25 foot, I would let it keep going
Okay.
and let us
closer.
get closer to the end. Yeah.
Walter, come.
Better. Oh, it's treated. Very good. Yeah, like that last
Right.
kind of 15 feet, he was like,
Yeah, he's
no,
like,
but-
I don't know, it's gonna
I know it's
happen.
gonna happen.
Go on.
But no, one more.
Yeah, wait.
Was that the first one on the higher number?
Yes.
Okay, one more.
Well, he did that one, but he was predicting this one. Walter, come.
Better. Very good. So I like that the turns are better,
Yeah.
but now he's slow,
Yeah.
right? But topic at a time. But that's what I was getting at.
Totally noticed where I was usually calling.
Sure, but we'll switch it up after this one. Move around over here.
Walter, come.
Tap, 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 bring him in. There you go. Good. Go ahead and put him in a heel.
Heel.
Back. Good. Go ahead and heel back this way.
Heel.
Tap, 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 tap. Keep going. Tap, 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 tap. Keep moving. Bump. Tip, tip, tip. Yeah, go ahead and apply a little tension. Tap, tap. There he goes. There you go. Good fix. Tap, tap. Good. Good. Very good. And you're at what now?
73.
73. Yeah. So he's a solid guy.
Yeah.
Like he takes it he takes it well.
Right.
He doesn't panic or whatever.
No, he does do that stop and itch when it's like
Yeah.
every once in a while. I can't figure out
It's
why sometimes. It's never related, I feel like.
when I see dogs do it in response to the stim, it's because of when it's moving, they don't. There's no contact there.
Oh.
So then what I'll do is I'll just keep bumping it as I'm moving, and eventually
Yeah.
it'll cut through and they'll start running. And I'll do that every time they scratch, so then they end up learning like every time I scratch, this goes up very high very quickly, and then it'll dissuade them from doing that. So that we don't get it like, you know, if we need to do a recall or something like that, he's not stopping and scratching. It's like he's booking it.
Right.
Okay. But nothing out the ordinary. It happens. So good. So we can see where he's getting smart, right? And he's like learning the distance. He's like, oh, I know this setup. Okay. Which is why, you know, again, it's not realistic, but it helps kind of just get a foundation of what it looks like and stuff. So now what we'll do is same concept, but now I'm gonna run with Walter, and I might even stop and kind of like go back and forth with him, and then whenever you're ready, you just issue that recall. Okay. You might end up having to bump it because now that we're moving more quickly, he's going to be jumping around, the collar's moving and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll start at the 73 that we're at, and then adjust it as needed.
Okay.
Okay. Questions?
No. Just call whenever.
Yeah. Whenever. Anybody? Hey.
Walter, come.
There you go. Fancy. Very good. And break.
Okay. Walter, come.
Yep, good. Tap, 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 back. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Good. Tap, 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 tap. Double check your collar. To vibrate. Yep. I think we might have lost contact or something. Because I'm not.
Can I tighten it or should I just leave it?
Because earlier at the 50 something, I saw the contractions.
Right.
And here when I was looking, I didn't see anything.
Sorry, Mom.
All right.
Should we get one? Walter, come.
There you go.
No speed. What happened?
All right. Two more. So they're pretty good though. Doing good.
He walks all slow. Walter, come.
Yep. Yep. Good. And are you still at the 70 something?
73.
Let's try 80. Good.
He just gets so slow.
It can happen. Sometimes, like instead of running away from the remote, the dogs will slow down.
Yeah.
So that's just practicing and rehearsing. So that it's like remotely, yeah, speed up.
Okay.
Ready, bud?
One.
Break.
Walter, come.
That's better. Very good. The other thing is the leash. I don't know if you, I don't know what, I kind of
Yeah.
waddled over it.
Yeah.
It makes things a little bit awkward for them. And now let's go back down. Let's go like a 65 because that was he felt the full power of it there. Very good. So, again, these exercises not realistic,
Right.
but you're building towards the reality.
Yeah.
just recreating those movements away. This will help like at the park when he's playing with the other dogs and stuff like that. One, detaching off of someone, so if Chase is helping you, if you're doing it, like leaving one person for the other is super beneficial.
He never goes too far from me in like all this, I can tell.
And it'd be the same thing like at the dog park, just breaking away from a group of dogs and stuff. So, any questions about this stuff here?
No.
So the speed now, right? So we still got to work on the speed of the turnaround, right? But then there's the speed of the return,
right?
Okay, and it's the same kind of concept where like you would just increase and play with the power, just keep drilling it out, so you find that breaking point where he's like, okay, I better resolve this and resolve it quickly. And all that you can do over just time. There's no real rush for that. When you practice at the dog park, how was the speed? Was it like the same as we're seeing here, or was he better?
It's a little faster, I think.
Okay.
And now he seems really slow.
Sure, and you just came from the beach, right? So you might be a little tired.
Yeah.
It could possibly be because he's in that kind of excited state. We're playing around, we're playing with dogs and stuff. Maybe it's.
I think it's just like his energy is just higher.
Sure.
But right now, I think he understands that like he's just being drilled.
Yeah, it's trained. It's
it's
not
like,
realistic
okay,
at all.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So, I always care about how he responds realistically.
Yeah.
So someone might tell me like, Jesse, the dog's super slow here, but when I practice on my own, the dog's very fast. That's
like
fine.
at the park when I did this, like a different park by myself with a long leash, just like letting him wander, do things, which I let him, like you were saying, like go towards a bird and like catch him at different stages or whatever, like going towards, or once he's actually like reached the tree or whatever. I was doing some of that one day, and he totally caught a bird, and I don't think he can fly anymore. I was like, oh no. He like got there and like pawed it, and I was like, and then he couldn't fly away, and I was like, oh my god. So we were done that day.
Walter. My Chihuahua caught a baby squirrel once.
That would be his dream.
When I lived in Grant Park, I guess they fall out the trees from time to time.
Oh.
And there was a number of them, and I just saw my Chihuahua going, like shaking something, and I'm like, what? I wasn't expecting a baby squirrel, and then some lady's like, oh my god, the dog's an animal. And I was like, what?
One time a baby bird was out of a tree at the dog park, and he listened to leave it. He didn't get him, but yeah. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he is a dog.
Right.
But yeah, great. Keep doing that. In terms of like when is he going to be ready, it really just depends on how much you're able to practice with him, the context in which you practice with him, and then also weather. Like obviously nobody would want to go out and train on a rainy day, right? But like I had a client of mine, we were over by the lakefront where there's like tennis courts and stuff, and we got caught in a rainstorm. Like it just came out of nowhere, and I was like, I train rain, sleet, or snow. It's your call. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, damn it, I was really hoping you would say let's not train. So, because he was like my third client, I had like 5 more, and I was just going to be drenched.
Yeah.
So we trained, but it turned out his dog was scared of thunderstorms.
Oh.
And his dog kept trying to run away.
Right.
So I was like, you know what, it's actually good that you decided to do that. And I was like, did you know this about your dog? I was like, no, we've never been out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're always inside during rain.
Exactly. Rain, so. Environment doesn't always just mean environment. It also means the weather, the climate. Is it super hot? Is it very windy? Is it snowing? Is it a thunderstorm with heavy rain or thunder all over the place? Obviously, you don't have to go out and do these things, but I'll suggest to people it's worth it just to learn about your dog, because you won't know until it happens, right? Someone doesn't know their dog is scared of fireworks until there's fireworks, right? So if you're like, hey, there's a thunderstorm, whatever, we're already out here.
Right.
You're already putting yourself in a situation you learn more about it. Okay? Because your training again is only as good as the context that you practice in. So in that case with that gentleman, like his dog was super flighty, and I told him because his dog wouldn't heel. The dog
in the rain he wouldn't, or just in general?
With the thunderstorm.
Oh.
Like everything else was great, but once the thunder came, he's like, why isn't he that obedient? I'm like, because of this. Like your dog was under stress because it doesn't like the thunderstorm. I was like, but we're gonna make things very simple. So don't worry about the nice tight heel that we normally teach because the dog's under high stress. What I care about is the dog not running away. So what happened was when he would walk, the dog would just keep forging, but he would stay at his side, but just kind of back and forth like I want to run away. And I told him, like, you would just do this until, like, you got home or whatever. Like, I wouldn't continue walking your dog out. It's not going to get any better. But then his dog kept trying to book it as well, so then he would remote him, so that anytime the thunder went off, instead of running away from him, he would actually run to him as a default. So the thunder became like a default recall command. You know, that's like the best that we can do. Like, you're not going to make your dog like thunderstorms if they don't like it. So things like that are good to know. And a lot of times with dogs, in the wintertime, they tend to get friskier, where they're like, not so much more disobedient, but they're more excitable.
Yeah.
And they're like, has he seen snow yet?
As a puppy.
As a puppy?
When I first got him, there was still some snow.
Yeah. So
he's not going to remember it when it snows again.
When it snows again, if you see him like what's this?
That's how I remember that. That's how my lab was.
Yeah.
Like so excited.
Yep.
Running, jumping, and everything.
Yep. That's a whole different thing now.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you'd want to practice your obedience in the snow, things like that, and see where do you fall within all that stuff. Okay. Questions about any of that?
No.
So we've done heel, we've done stay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've done the recall. So once I get to this stage, I try to blend everything together.
Yeah.
And then we're using a long leash, you start to build towards off-leash reliability. Now, if you're going to do the stay, I highly suggest you don't do recall from stay.
Right, because that's like the sidestepping too, right? Won't that be confusing to him? Because that's what I was thinking when I was stepping away. Like, usually the command was to stay.
Oh, sure.
So like when I moved with a different foot, I was surprised he did that.
Right, because of what the command was given.
Right.
Right. And we'll do this right now. Is we want to start clarifying things. Mm-hmm. Okay. And yes, there's going to be confusion.
Right.
So like one thing I'll do is a recall, do a bunch of side steps, and then stay. And then walk away.
Right.
And that kind of tells you, does the dog have a good concept? Are they still learning, or do they have no concept? Right? So when they have good concept, you'll step away and he's like, all right, no problem. So it's nice because it shows you that he knows how to differentiate between the recall of, okay, stick to mom, but once I hear this word, it means I don't move. Okay? So we'll actually start off with that. Okay. I'll take Walter one more time here. I'll move around with him. You'll do the recall, and then you'll go into the side steps 2 to 3 times. Wait a moment, and then give the stay and step away with the opposing leg. Okay, the one furthest from him. And when you do this, you want to already have your leash shortened, so I drop leash and grab higher up, right? Exactly, because you want to assume he's going to make a mistake. Yeah, sure. Okay, awesome. Ready, bud? Break.
Walter, come.
Good.
Stay.
And then short. There you go. And then you drop the other. There you go. Good.
Stay.
And then keep it there and walk around him first. And then here, what you can start doing is as you move back, like maybe 4 feet, you can start feeding leash through. There you go. So now you can get more distance. Good, about there. Go to start walking around him again. Good. Going to come back to the side here. You're going to praise him, attaboy. And then you're going to step away again, but he doesn't move. Good, yep. Good job. Good. You're going to go back to the side. Now what you're going to do here is you're going to go into heel, and you can let your leashes go side. Yeah.
Heel.
let the left hand go. Yep. Keep moving. Drop it. Keep forward. Tap. Tap forward. Now drop. There you go. You're good.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to know.
Yeah. Tap. Tap.
Nope.
Tap. Keep moving. There you go. You got it. You got it. Good. Good turn. Go and speed up a little. Tap, tap, tap. Keep moving. You got it. Good. Attaboy. Good boy. Go ahead and turn inwards. To your right, inwards. Pass Walter. Tap, tap, tap. Yep, tap. Now what you can do as you're walking, go ahead and pick up your leash midway. Oh, he's coming. There he goes. And then forward. There you go. Tap. Tap. Keep forward, tap. There he is, and drop. Good. And then slow to stop when you're ready. Good. So, drop the leash.
Yeah.
And we start to see that stalling behavior, right? So I keep moving. You can slow down so you're not getting super far away from him super quickly. And you're tapping because you're trying to make him figure out what to do with nothing now, right? Stalled, then sped up. Good. You're walking, and then I said speed up on purpose to create gap. Same problem, right? You tapped, then he stopped, he did the scratching. So then he ended up on your right.
Right.
So to make things easier for him, what I did was have you just turn in, now he's back on your left. Much easier for him to figure that out. And you start walking, and what you can do is you just follow the line, and I'll pick it up and tap, and at some point tension will pull him, and as soon as I see him go forward, I can let it go and let him figure out, oh, this is where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
So you're teaching Walter how to troubleshoot problems by what you're doing, okay? That's why body language is so important with this stuff.
Yeah.
So like the recall, it's we're moving backwards. For heel, it's we're moving away, but I'm trying to keep this left side facing him, okay? So if Walter goes off to the right 30 feet or whatever, it's going to be really hard for him to connect to this. So to make it easier, I just pivot in. Now he sees my left side, he recognizes that it's heel, and he should be able to figure out to come here. Okay. So when as you progress him and there's no leash, you've already worked through all the stuff. You can get him to self-correct using the remote. Okay. And then doing conflicting commands. So you did a recall, a few step-aways, you did the stay, we planned for mistakes, we shortened it. You did great, warm him up, come back in, add a little distraction.
Yeah, the praise he always thinks he's done. That always gets
Step away, come back, put him in the heel, now we're moving again. Okay? And a dog in the beginning going from a stay tends to be harder for them because the tap, they tend to think to stay back. And you're trying to teach them no, in this case it means forward, right? So there's confusion there, but that's how they learn. You have to repeat that process. So you can do the heel from the stay because you've returned to him. So me personally, if I have a dog in a stationary position, I'll only release them when I'm next to them, okay? Because dogs see things in pictures.
like release them to like go
To be free, correct. So like let's say you put Walter in a stay.
And I like came back to here, you're saying you wouldn't release him from this position?
Yes, no, you wouldn't.
Oh, you would?
When you're near him, right? It's when you're away from him that I wouldn't release him.
Okay.
Because let's say you're 30 feet away and he thinks you said something like a release, or he assumes a release, and you need him to not move, he's gonna think that. But if it's always, I only release you when I'm in your immediate space,
Yeah.
then he's thinking, okay,
There's no way she said I can go play right now.
exactly, we're making very cut and dry. That's why I also try to stay away from the recall from the stay, because then he's gonna prematurely go towards you, okay? So I only release dogs when I'm in their immediate space. You don't have to be exactly beside them, but just like here, yeah. And then, okay buddy, break. You can do a heel, because in the heel, he's right there. Boom, now we're moving. You're right next to him, so that's perfectly fine. So now when you work with him, you can start blending all these things together and build them towards that off-leash liability. Okay? Questions so far with that stuff? Are you doing 6 or 9? I can't remember.
9.
9? Okay.
Yeah.
So the next things we have to teach them would be the down via remote. We'll lay a remote over the sits, and then it's taking all this stuff and practicing on the long leash.
Just doing everything.
Yep. And then place command, which is easy. Okay.
Yeah, I don't use that, so it'll be interesting.
It's super easy.
Okay. I mean, I know he's like introduced everything basically from being a puppy with you guys, so
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. It's just, I just don't use that word. So.
Right. So think of the place command as like, let's say you need Walter to behave himself. Because if you down
he
him,
has places in our house, like when we're cooking dinner, like there's a spot he needs to be laying, like, and everything. It's just I've never explicitly used the word.
I see. Like he just kind of
He
gravitates
just
to it.
knows, like, his go lay down is more of what we say. than,
Oh,
like,
sure.
place. So
Gotcha.
anyway, that's just more.
So like, in terms of commands, stationary commands, we have sit, down, and place. Sit is momentary. Like, put your butt down while I go throw this away.
Yeah.
Right? But nothing for any considerable amount of time because it's uncomfortable for a dog to sit for a long time. 2, the down, which is lay down, we're going to be here for a while. But it's very strict. There's no breaking from that position. You're laying down and that's it. Place command's a bit more lenient. So it's like, let's say you want to maybe go out for brunch with him, and you want to have him under control and bring him along, but not have to be like, are you in the down?
Right.
The place is simple. You just pop down a little towel or whatever.
Yeah.
You send him, and he can sit, stand, or lay down. He just cannot leave the
That
proximity.
Like square. Correct.
Yeah. So if I know I don't want to have to be so tuned into the dog, I do that because it allows me to have a nice brunch or dinner or whatever, and not worry about him being specifically in the down. Because if he's in a down, every time he gets up, you have to correct him back into a down. Whereas with the place, it's like do whatever you want, but just don't step off of the area.
Right. I shouldn't feel you pulling on the leash.
Correct. So, I use the down when I have the ability to just like if you're coming here to read or something, you sit down, step on the leash, and it is what it is. It's very, very easy. But if it's going to be my attention is going to be on something else, and I don't want to have to worry about the dog, then I utilize the place command. Okay. So yeah, he's doing great. He's progressing really nice. So I'll positive by the end of the 9 weeks he'll be good to go.
I think so.
For sure. Okay. Awesome.
Good?
He's like, we done with this?